Flames trade rumors are heating up as we have a shocking report that sees Nazem Kadri hit the trade market this offseason. With his value as high as ever, many are suggesting Conroy should trade away the All-Star with some insane trade proposals listed. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. Let's hop in and talk about how Kadri is on the market. But maybe I should have added some question marks here, because is it true? Now, some people in the fan base will say other than Dustin Wolf and Zane Parekh, pretty much everyone should be on the market. Tank next year, get Gavin McKenna in the upcoming draft, and, bish, bash, bosh, we're good. We have our center for the future. We have our cornerstone player, as well as Wolf and Parekh, who could be cornerstone players as well, and it makes sense. But for now, it looks as though maybe Kadri is on the market for sure, joining people like Rasmus Andersson. So the win column tweeted out here that could the Nazem Kadri wins be blowing stronger this offseason? Now, here's a quote from an article on The Athletic, and it's funny because the article itself wasn't about the Flames, it wasn't about Kadri, it was about Marco Rossi and the Wild, which is what yesterday's video was about. But here was a great quote from that article by Michael Russo and Joe Smith. It said, "There is a lot of talk that Nazem Kadri could be traded, but Calgary wants to add a center and maybe not delete. Plus, he has a no move." So they're saying that talk is going around that Kadri could be traded, but it's going to be difficult. Why would the Flames trade away a center if they're looking for a center? And obviously he has a no-move clause, so he would have to waive that as well. Another little barrier there in the potential for a trade. But it is true here. Kadri could be traded. Now, it kind of goes with what I said earlier about if the Flames really want to tear it down and truly rebuild, Kadri will go away or will get traded because his value is oh so high. But if we get into an article that was written, I think like a week or two ago, it's interesting because it brought up the same thing about how the Flames should trade Kadri. So here is a couple little excerpts from that article. So that brings us to the subject of Flames center Nazem Kadri and the current market for a solid second-line center. The 34-year-old veteran and Cup champion had a solid season for Calgary, posting a career-high 35 goals and 67 points in 82 games. He's a cost-certain asset for the next 4 seasons at $7 million per year. If you're a team that's looking for an experienced second-line center, you could do much worse than acquiring Kadri. That is, if he becomes available. There's a lot of these uncertainties, ifs, coulds, maybes. They're all over the place in these articles about Kadri being on the trade market, more so than we see in the Rasmus Andersson trade rumors, but it is interesting. To continue, Kadri does have a full no movement clause at the moment, which changes to a partial no trade clause next summer that allows him to veto a deal to 13 teams. He said before he loves the city and organization, the players have a great time together, and the team never quits. The Flames told teams they weren't open to selling Kadri or anyone else at the deadline either, though that was when they were in a playoff push. That was at the deadline. That's different. The same thing was said last summer. This summer could be absolutely different for sure. But with Kadri coming off a good season, it makes sense for the team to ask him where he'd be open to move to and drum up a robust market for him. Conroy would be selling high by trading him this offseason. Again, his value will never be higher. Even with Kadri in the lineup this year, the Flames weren't a playoff team. Even with the trades they made, they missed out. Even though they want veterans to mentor their young players, they still have Huberdeau, Backlund, and Coleman. So that's saying, look, keeping Kadri doesn't make that big of a difference because we still didn't make the playoffs. So why not trade him away since his value is so high? If they wait another year, Kadri's trade value might not be the same. It's worthwhile to see if he wants to go to a more competitive team right now, acquire young up-and-comers who will be cornerstone components for the long term, and continue to build a young and revitalized Calgary squad. So again, just kind of like Andersson, business-wise, it makes sense to deal Kadri away because you would get a boatload for him. He's proven he can do it before. He was so good with Colorado in their cup run a couple years ago. So he's really shown that he can do it. He's coming off career highs. The numbers have never been better. The contract is affordable for teams to acquire. Depends on the team, of course. I say affordable because it's not, a ludicrous deal, but some teams might have to shift some things around, and Calgary can take on some salary retention. So I know it's for 4 years, and that's not ideal, but we could still take some on, so dealing him does make sense. That being said, I would love to keep Kadri around. I think he really is the main piece of what built the culture here. But either way, let's get into some more rumors, and they kind of do involve Kadri here. The thumbnail isn't a lie. Don't worry. I'll get into it. We have a great article here from Daniel Austin of the Calgary Herald. So he writes, around the NHL, what the latest rumors could mean for the Flames. And there's 5 rumors he brings up. I'm only going to bring up 2 because I think they're the 2 most relevant. And especially the first one we look at is relevant for this video, particularly about Nazem Kadri. So if we hop in, while the Calgary Flames themselves haven't been involved in any moves just yet, that doesn't mean the rumors that are swirling don't affect them. And that has been the truth of the entire Craig Conroy tenure as GM of the Calgary Flames. So let's take a look at some of the chatter from around the league and what it means, if anything, for the Flames. The first one, the juicy one that you already have seen a little bit of, is that the Dallas Stars are open to moving Jason Robertson. And this isn't honestly even that big of a rumor. It really seems like the Stars are almost ready to move on from Robertson, which is crazy because he's such a good player. Would they rather bring in the experience of Nazem Kadri, who has shown he can do it in the Western Conference playoffs? He can actually beat the Oilers in the Western Conference final, as he did a few years ago. And Dallas, they've lost 3 straight World Conferences, Western Conference series. So maybe could Kadri be the piece they need to get over the hump? He can score. He can kind of do it all. Robertson, a little bit younger, fits better for the Flames. It's interesting, but let's see here. So players like Robertson don't come up on the market all that often. He's only 25 years old and has put up 80 points for the past 2 seasons and had 109 back in 2022-23. For a team like the Flames, he'd instantly become their top scorer and would be a cornerstone to build around for the next half decade at least. You'd at least want to give the Stars a call if you're Craig Conroy, right? I would certainly think so. Even if it doesn't involve Kadri, I would still be making some calls. With all of that being said, the price is surely going to be astronomical. Are the Flames really at the point in their retool where they're looking to trade away young assets? Is that what Dallas wants back for Robertson, is young assets, or things that they can use to help win now? So I'm kind of going to argue with the article here. Robertson would make them better, sure, but would he turn them into a Stanley Cup contender? Probably not yet, but maybe in the future. It's probably worth mentioning, though, that the Stars are very much in win-now mode. They've lost in the Western Conference Final in each of the last 3 seasons. They could be one of the teams that could use a guy like Rasmus Andersson, so who knows, maybe there's a deal to be done. Do you use both Kadri and Andersson in a little package to the Stars where you take on Robertson, maybe you take on a cap dump as well, and get some more futures? That would be the juiciest trade I think we could possibly concoct. I know a lot of people want the Flames to go after Maverick Bourque as well. That could be an option. He'd be a great young center for the future. And bringing in Robertson would be super exciting. So there's so many juicy proposals and hypotheticals we could come up with the Dallas Stars. But either way, this is a very interesting one, and I'm sure Conroy is taking a look at it. Hey, Craig, if you're watching this video, give me a call. I've got some ideas. But let's get into the other rumor here. Now, it is actually this one, which is interesting, and it really does, I guess, affect the Flames. So, rumor number 3 here is that Alex Pietrangelo could be out all of next season. And you're thinking, well, we're not going to be trading for Pietrangelo. What does this have to do with anything? Hold on one second. So Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman reported on his 32 Thoughts podcast that the Knights are expecting their veteran blue liner to be out for a big part of next season and could even miss it entirely. Pretty interesting. If he's placed on long-term injury reserve, it would free up a considerable amount of salary cap space for the Golden Knights to play with, and that could mean they could afford to keep Nicholas Hague. Why is this important to the Flames? This is a negative for the Flames. Essentially, the Flames could have used bringing on Nicholas Hague as a cap dump sort of thing, or not bringing on Hague as a cap dump, but bringing on someone else as a cap dump so that the Knights could still sign Hague, which really could have helped us for the future, doing one of those genius trades that we've seen teams like San Jose and Pittsburgh do in the not too distant past. But there is a positive as well, and it's this. It would also make the Golden Knights worse next season, and that matters if you're a Flames fan because the team acquired Vegas's 2026 first-round draft pick in the trade that sent Noah Hanifin the other way. So let's just say, for whatever reason, Vegas really tanks next season. That is perfect for us. I mean, obviously they won't be terrible, but hey, if we could get, maybe the Knights miss out, we get a top 15 pick, that would be lovely to see. So hey, maybe Pietrangelo being hurt, sure, business-wise it might not help, but for the future it could help out a lot. So that's just some more rumors going around the league that do affect the Flames. Juicy stuff. I love it. Are we going to trade away Kadri? Let me know down in the comments. And speaking of comments, let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. This comment, of course, comes from yesterday's video, and it was written by Krupix, and they wrote, not particularly interested in a 5'9" center unless he's an absolute bulldog. Talking about Marco Rossi here. Kadri should be dealt eventually. How relevant. But if you do it this year, maybe we should just empty out all the veterans and tank for McKenna. Unless Wolf gets injured or seriously regresses, I don't see that happening. And it is true. I really don't think the Flames will absolutely tank unless Wolf has a huge sophomore slump, of course, and we do kind of, sell everyone off and really honestly try to tank. But we'll see. It is interesting overall. Will Kadri be traded? I guess that's another big question to look at as we progress into the offseason. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe for what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.